Toni Storm isn't just another star. She's arguably one of the most entertaining characters in wrestling, delivering unforgettable promos, incredible matches, and one of the most unique gimmicks we've seen in years. But just a few years ago, she was miserable, burnt out, questioning whether she even wanted to keep wrestling, and according to Toni Storm herself, her time in WWE played a major role in those feelings. Looking back now, leaving WWE may have been the single greatest decision of her career. Today, we're breaking down why Toni Storm walked away from WWE, why AEW was the perfect fit, and why her success today proves that sometimes a wrestler doesn't fail. Sometimes the system fails them. So hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. When Toni Storm signed with WWE, fans were excited. She had already built a reputation around the world as one of wrestling's brightest young stars. People expected her to become a centerpiece of WWE's women's division. Instead, things never really clicked. She found success in NXT UK and had memorable moments in NXT, but once she reached the main roster, the momentum slowed down. Creative direction changed. Storylines came and went. Instead of feeling like a priority, it often felt like she was just another name trying to find her place. Years later, Toni Storm spoke openly about how burnt out she had become. She described being exhausted mentally and physically and said she had fallen out of love with wrestling during that period. That kind of honesty is rare because burnout isn't always about working hard. Sometimes it's about feeling like your work isn't leading anywhere. When someone is sacrificing their body every week but doesn't feel creatively fulfilled, that frustration builds up over time, and eventually, something has to change. But burnout wasn't the only reason Toni Storm decided to walk away. The next part of her story makes the decision make even more sense. Professional wrestlers aren't just athletes. They're storytellers, characters, performers. Some thrive when every detail is scripted. Others do their best work when they're trusted to create. Toni Storm has made it clear that she enjoys having room to develop her own character and ideas. That's one area where many fans believe AEW gave her more opportunity. Instead of trying to fit into one mold, she was able to reinvent herself. And what happened next was one of the greatest transformations in modern wrestling. The timeless Toni Storm character wasn't just entertaining. It became must-see television. The black and white movie star presentation, the dramatic acting, the exaggeration facial expressions, the old Hollywood inspiration, it felt fresh, different, completely original. More importantly, it felt like Toni Storm was having fun again, and fans noticed. You can't fake genuine passion. When someone enjoys what they're doing, it comes across on television. That's exactly what happened. Joining AEW wasn't simply changing companies, it was changing environments. AEW's schedule is generally lighter than WWE's touring schedule, giving many wrestlers more time to recover and pursue outside projects and recharge. For someone who had openly discussed burnout, that mattered. A healthier work-life balance can make a huge difference. Instead of constantly moving from city to city, there was more time to heal physically and mentally. That doesn't automatically solve every problem, but it can help someone rediscover why they loved wrestling in the first place. And that's exactly how many fans view Toni Storm's resurgence. She wasn't just wrestling again. She looked energized, confident, creative, inspired. Sometimes changing your surroundings changes everything. But here's the part many WWE fans don't want to admit. Success after leaving WWE isn't unique to Toni Storm. She's part of a much bigger pattern. Whenever someone leaves WWE and becomes a bigger star elsewhere, people often ask the same question. What changed? Did the wrestler suddenly become better overnight? Of course not. Toni Storm didn't magically learn how to wrestle after signing with AEW. She already had the talent. What changed was the environment. Sometimes a performer simply needs the right creative space. Different companies have different philosophies. Some wrestlers thrive in one system, others flourish in another. Toni Storm's career shows that success isn't always about being more talented. It's about finding the place where your strengths are valued. Once she found that place, everything clicked. Championships, main event matches, acclaimed promos, award-winning character work. Fans who had always believed in her finally got to see the version of Toni Storm they knew was possible. Does this mean WWE never creates stars? Of course not. WWE has developed countless successful performers. But Toni Storm's story does raise an important question. How many talented wrestlers never reach their full potential because the creative fit isn't right? Not every performer succeeds under the same style of booking. Some need structure, others need freedom. Finding the balance isn't easy. Toni Storm's career reminds us that one company's approach isn't necessarily the best approach for every wrestler. And sometimes leaving isn't quitting. Sometimes it's the smartest career move you can make. Today, Toni Storm is widely regarded as one of the standout personalities in women's wrestling. The timeless character has earned praise from fans and critics alike, and her work has become a defining part of AEW programming. It's difficult to reimagine that level of character if she had remained on the same path she described as creatively and emotionally draining. Whether someone prefers WWE or AEW, it's hard to argue that the move didn't change the trajectory of her career. She found a presentation that resonated with audiences. She found a schedule that better suited her. And by her own account, she rediscovered her passion for wrestling. That's a remarkable turnaround. At the end of the day, Toni Storm's story isn't really about WWE versus AEW. It's about finding the right environment. She has openly discussed burnout and feeling disconnected from wrestling during her WWE run. After making the jump to AEW, she reinvented herself with one of the most memorable characters in wrestling today and became a centerpiece of the promotion. That's why so many fans believe leaving WWE was the right decision for her. But what do you guys think? Was Toni Storm right to leave WWE, or do you think things could have turned out differently if she had stayed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more wrestling analysis and commentary. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.